Every country in the world is in debt. The United States owes more than $38 trillion, the highest level in its history. The European Union owes around 14 trillion. Japan is close to 9 trillion. Even oil-rich countries like Saudi Arabia, even export giants like Germany and China, all deeply in debt. So here is the strange part. If everyone is in debt, who is the debt owed to? This is where money, power, and history collide. And let's be clear from the start, nothing is as simple as it looks. Debt is not just a burden, it is the skeleton of the modern world. Wars, crises, rises and collapses. All of them stand on this invisible system of debt. And if you follow the chain of creditors long enough, you discover something uncomfortable. The world is not in debt to a single power, it is in debt to itself. But that does not mean everyone benefits equally. Today, global debt has passed $315 trillion, nearly 3 times the size of the global economy. To understand how we got here, we have to go back to the beginning, long before credit cards, long before digital money. The idea of national debt was not born on Wall Street, it was born in war. In 1694, England was at war with France. Its gold reserves were exhausted. The king turned to merchants for help. In exchange for guaranteed interest payments, backed by future taxes, they financed the state. To manage this system, the Bank of England was created. This was revolutionary. The state could now spend money it did not yet have. And lenders received something priceless, a promise from the government, a promise that could be bought and sold. That is how government bonds were born, the seed of modern finance. France copied it. The Netherlands refined it. The United States used it to fund its revolution and its expansion westward. Debt was no longer a weakness. It became a sign of credibility. A state that could borrow, could rule. Empires once conquered land for gold. Now they issued bonds for interest. The battlefield changed. It became the balance sheet. 3 centuries later, debt has become the world's largest export. Today, everyone owes, every bank lends, and every citizen, through taxes, savings, and pensions, is both debtor and creditor. So who holds the other end of the rope? Let's look at the United States. Of its $38 trillion in debt, roughly half is held by investors. About 2/3 of those investors are American institutions, banks, pension funds, insurance companies, and the Federal Reserve. The remaining third, around $9 trillion, is held by foreigners. Japan is the largest holder. China comes next. So yes, the U.S. owes money to China. But that is only about 2% of the total. America's real debt is to itself. The Treasury issues bonds. Institutions buy them. The central bank buys them back and creates new money. Interest paid through taxes flows back into retirement accounts, a closed loop. And this loop is not uniquely American, it is global. Japan lends to the U.S. The U.S. lends through the IMF. Europe lends through the World Bank. Developing nations park their reserves back into Western bonds, a worldwide exchange of promises. But above nations themselves, there is another power, the markets. Behind every bond stand massive funds, central banks, institutions managing tens of trillions. They decide who borrows cheaply and who pays a premium to survive. Democracy chooses who governs. Markets decide who survives. At the center of this system stand the central banks. They do not just manage debt, they create it. When they buy government bonds, new money is created. One balance sheet's liability becomes another's asset. There's no such thing as debt-free money. Every bill in your pocket carries an invisible IOU. For decades, this system survived on confidence. As long as investors believed interest would be paid, the machine kept running. But when confidence breaks, we have seen what happens. Greece, 2010. Argentina, endless defaults. Sri Lanka, collapse. When the system breaks, creditors become visible, the IMF. Rating agencies, anonymous bondholders. And yet the story always restarts. Old debts are replaced with new ones. It is not called bankruptcy, it is called restructuring. Because modern debt was not designed to be repaid, it was designed